Honesty is like virginity. When betrayed, can never be regained. It is with that word that I kickstart today's edition of our program as we inch towards October 12th presidential election. A lot of issues are at stake at the level of the justice, at the level of the economy, at the level of agriculture, at the level of infrastructural development. A lot of issues are on the table. However, we are counting more than 42 years of the regime of President Paul Biya and looking at the status quo more than 60 years after Cameroon regained its independence and, of course, reunification. A lot of discussions have been on the table as to why are we at the same position. The truth of the matter here is that if you count more than 60 years down the road and you look at the current situation of Cameroon and you equate itself with others that had the same independence at the time Cameroon did have, the question we should be asking is, where have we gone wrong? What needs to be done that has not been done? Looking at the Anglophone crisis in itself, it is a textbook example of how a crisis has not been well managed. As we are talking, every day, people keep dying in the northwest and the southwest region. The issue about do you know who I am is mostly being spoken at the corridors of power, where people are not judged by the content of their character. They are judged by how much contact and who they know. It is but normal that Cameroonians should ask one or two questions. How good interest or how goodwill are their political stakeholders as we are in an election year? We are in an election year, promises will be made. Will they be kept? A lot of promises were made in 2018. In 2020, during the municipal and legislative elections, promises were made. But how many of those promises were kept? If we look at also the aspect of the Anglophone crisis, many people are languishing in jail. Some caught deliberately doing the job and therefore need to actually be prosecuted. However, some are in the dungeon without knowing what they actually did. Justice delayed is justice denied. Let us come now to the issue at stake here. The issue at stake, we are looking at the 13 presidential aspirants were actually retained out of the 82 that submitted their list. Many people are on the street asking questions. Why and what went wrong? What went right for the 13? What went wrong for the over 62? The truth also here is that most Cameroonians have refused to look at the electoral laws. Some have decided to give in to manipulation, and many rely on social media vibes and cut except to make their explanation known. And that is why you see on social media many are shouting, oh, this person has been removed, oh, this person ought not to have been removed. The question you should ask yourself is, how conversant, how vast are you when it comes to the law, electoral law? And also, most of those that you see on social media fanning and talking about issues that incite violence, some of them are not in the country. If there is one thing we should have learned from, or we should learn from, is the Anglophone crisis, and that a nation can never be in peace when we fan and we incite violence, for we can respectfully disagree to agree. It is a time when many will say and come with promises how there will be bridges in areas that don't have river, how there will be seaports in areas that are highly mountainous, how they are going to make mountains flat into a plain. It is now but normal that Cameroonians across the northwest, southwest, littoral west should look at themselves and say the truth to each other. The issue of roads. How good do we have roads? The Prime Minister was in the Southwest region 2 weeks ago, and he made mention that Senoir will actually be renovated to meet a better standard than it was before. And the Prime Minister kicked out the rumor that there will be a construction of an oil refinery in Nkea. In his word, he said those who are saying there will be an oil refinery constructed in Nkea and that Senoir is not going to be taken seriously, those people are lying. My dear friends, brothers and sisters, as he said that those people are lying just 1 week after the project in Nkea was launched. Now, who is not telling the truth? Who is actually lying? Who is being sidelined? The truth here is that the issue of roads, Martin Baragangere, the Delegate General of National Security himself, went to Limbe, Buya, when he went to Mutenge Rada and looked at the roads, he said the roads were terrible. Do you want to remind us how the sheriff himself went to the north and said the roads were also bad and that he was going to send a special report to the head of state about the road? And do you want me to remind you about the northwest region where Bamenda Road, look at Momo. In fact, Bamenda in itself is a quagmire and a shadow of itself, where the secondary Professor Nalova Lyonga said in Bamenda, let us not make promises that we cannot keep. Our promises now going to be met. Are they going to be made that they cannot be kept? This is House of Commons with me, Tah Mai Javis. Happy Sunday. If you are just joining us, you're watching House of Commons, and a lot is on the table. The justice system. You know, in the 2016 build-up in the northwest and the southwest region, the issue about the common law and about justice was on the table, and that catapulted us to what we are experiencing today, which now, you know, they say to every action, there's an equal, the opposite reaction. Now we are looking at the pending appointment of notaries in the northwest and the southwest region, dubbed the Anglophone crisis, depending on which kind of appellation you want to give that side of the region. And also we shall be also briefly looking at the 13 retain as far as election is concerned. What are the legal issues after the list is out, and those who are disgruntled? Minister Paul Atanganji said, if you are rejected, go and cry at home. Don't cry on the streets. And he said that there is no place in the electoral law that states that you should cry on the street if your file is rejected, that the nation will assume its responsibility and maintain peace, security. In the studio, we are joined by a cream of panelists. We shall be looking at the two topics. One, which is going to be briefly, is looking at ELECAM, retain 13 aspirants, now candidates of the 2025 presidential election. What should be the way forward for those whose file were rejected, possible route they can take? In the studio, we are joined by senior lawyers in the northwest and the southwest Cameroon, and those who are also they were newly elected as members of the Barr Council of Cameroon, and that means that these are the gentlemen who are going to pilot their affairs and give judicial advice to Cameroon and also help to mold young lawyers. In the studio, we are joined by senior barrister Nkea Emmanuel, who also has been a member of a special criminal court in the Gambia and also a member of the Barr Council. He is here with us. Senior Barrister Nkea has been vocal as far as the laws of Cameroon are concerned, and also believe in the fact that we must not actually erode the law. We must stay true to the Constitution, and that laws must be made to respect the core values of humanity. Here with us, happy Sunday, and thanks for joining us, Barrister.
Thank you, Javis. It's a pleasure to always appear in your studio here to talk on issues that are topical, issues that affect the lives of Cameroonians and issues that affect the justice system of Cameroon. Thank you.
It's a privilege to have you. Also, we are joined by Senior Barrister Epey, who is also here with us. He is also a member of the Barr Council, newly elected members of the Barr Council. They have a vision. Their vision is to transform the Barr into a better place where we shall not only be talking about the best bar in Africa without mentioning Cameroon. He's here with us. Happy Sunday, Senior Barrister.
Happy Sunday, Mr. Javis. It's a pleasure. Happy Sunday to all the televiewers. It's a pleasure to share in your panel today.
And of course, we are joined by my very, very good friend who is here with us in the studio, Mr. Asoh, a member of the civil society, and also he shall be contributing on the discussion. Remember that whatever laws that are being made, they are made for the ordinary citizens to actually dissect. And actually, if the citizens are not there to give their own part of the contribution, it will actually not be fair enough. And so we are here in the studio with Mr. Eze, who is also a teacher across some secondary schools in Douala, Cameroon's commercial capital. And he will also be giving us his take as far as today's topics are concerned. Mr. Eze, thanks for joining us on Happy Sunday.
Thank you very much, Mr. Javis. It's a pleasure being on this program once more again with senior barristers. I want to use this opportunity to congratulate you people in your new office. I think we are here to throw our own small contribution to as far as the political and social life of Cameroon is concerned. So I want to salute all the viewers of my Media Prime. It's a pleasure being part of your program. Thank you so very much.
And Song Derek is also here, is also watching the program. And Song Derek wrote a masterpiece as far as the list of the 13 retained is concerned. As far as the 13 retained is concerned, Song Derek wrote that he encouraged Professor Maurice Kamto to actually see that, let me just quickly rush that his inner strength, where he actually wrote an issue about the possible coalition of Professor Maurice Kamto. And in his way he says, we see, dear Professor Maurice Kamto, we see it, we know it, that the system has done everything possible to push you out, discredit. He said the bigger dream we all carry is not about a single face on the ballot, it is about the true lasting challenge, the true lasting change. The change demands unity beyond ego, strategic beyond pride, and sacrifice beyond personal ambition. You have carried the weight of this fight for long enough. Now might be the time to gather around the table with others to pour your wisdom, network, vision, and a collective basket of unity. There is a team that can become a force if you join them. The respected barrister Keremuna, seasoned and principal, and also the dynamic Honorable Joshua Ose. With that we kickstart our program today with Barrister Nkea. We'll begin with you as far as this issue is concerned. We have just had the newly appointed, the list of those retained for the 2025 presidential election. You have observed the political landscape as far as Cameroon is concerned. Your take? Were you surprised? And what should be the way forward for those who are actually whose file were rejected legally?
You know, generally for me, Cameroon, there's nothing in Cameroon that is a surprise. And so, but I believe in the rule of law, and I believe that the legal framework organizing elections in this country makes provision for those who are dissatisfied with any measure to seek redress. And I believe that in this instance, those who are dissatisfied with the disqualification of their names or their list by Elections Cameroon, you should seize the appropriate quarters, which would in this case be the Constitutional Council, with a petition in that regard. And that is all what I would say. I have not taken a keynote about what the evolving landscape, political landscape, but I think that these elections are bound to produce either a Cameroon that is unified or a Cameroon that is will be looking towards disintegration.
Okay. Also, when we look at currently the issues, what would be your advice for the voters as far as the country now is concerned, the temperature, your advice to Cameroonians?
I am not a political consultant, but what I would say is that from my own perspective, I'm going to vote, and I'll vote according to my conscience. Who I'll vote for is a matter of a sacred ballot, and that is what the law says. It's a sacred ballot, and I think that I urge every Cameroonian to assume their responsibilities, vote, and take measures to protect their votes. Okay.
Barrister, briefly, Epey, briefly, want us to just quickly look at this issue. The list is out. What is your advice for those whose files were rejected, and also advice for the 13 retained? I say Cameroonians that you are.
No, generally, the law has been put in place. Cameroon is a state of law. they have instances for which to protest against the rejection of their candidacy. So I think that they should go to the Constitutional Council. It's only after the Constitutional Council, because there, I'm sure there is a hearing proceeding wherein they are going to explain their candidature and all of that, and the reasons for which they were rejected are going to be explained to them. Then they can put forth arguments why their candidacy should be retained or rejected. As to what is going to happen thereafter is only after when the Constitutional Council has decided as to who are the candidates who have been retained. As of now, it is still a liste provisoire.
Okay. Mr. Nkea, were you expecting the outcome?
Yes, I was expecting. Remember last time when we were here, we had 82 that submitted, and I told you that it was good. The number was good because it gave the chance that the selection should be better, like the learned mind people you have said. They have done their job, and they have retained 13. And those who are not satisfied, they have also said they should consult the Constitutional Council, and after that, what is the way forward? I feel the way forward would be, if truly they are patriotic, they should join other people that have been retained. It makes the coalition better now, because I feel that if you have not been taken, is because you have not met up with the norms of what the selection team was doing.
It has nothing to do with the political issues.
No, it should not have anything to do with the political issue, Mr. Javis, because when you see at times with us teachers, they say revision, you are revising, and there is an emphasis on a particular topic. You, as the student, be very careful, because they know why they are saying that this topic, or they are revising it. So it's good for you to cut the T's and dot the I's. But if it happens that they have retained 13, I think it is what they have seen, that these are the people that are going to represent Cameroon. And so those who are not satisfied, like Minister Tanganja said, we don't cry on the street. It is not something of crying on the street, but it is something for us to actually sit and see where we feel. Because one time I told you here that when we have a political party, political parties have objectives. There are political parties whose objective is just to take control of a council. And what is happening in Cameroon is that nearly all political parties, even those that are formed within the night, their objection is going for the presidency. It does not work like that. So if it happens that you were rejected, please come now and join the other people if we have a common goal, because I feel most Cameroonians feel it is time that there should be a change in this country. And so there are other parties, stronger parties that we can join. There is the SDF of C. Joshua, there is a Keremuna, because I, for one, I feel it is time that we should actually change the person, the people that are there. Maybe somebody that is coming in should be an English-speaking person.
Why is that when you wish Akere, you said you lay emphasis? Is that your
Akere Muna is my candidate. I will not hide it, because he's the only Cameroonian that has the legal mind. Yes, from a standpoint, it is my personal view. He's the only person that has assured us a 5-year mandate, and if it is not okay, they just move him out. So there are things that he is practical. He's somebody we must understand who he is. He's somebody that if you see, he has not been part and parcel of this government in any way. So if he's coming in, I think he will be coming in with his learned mind and with new Cameroon, as he's saying, with Parti Univers.
I hope that you have your voter's card.
I have it ever since, Mr. Javis. I've been voting for the past 7 years. So I have it. It is me. I feel it becomes. That is why I said last time here that if people want to talk, it is not a matter of coming out and rioting. The only thing that I feel it's gone now, it is having your voter's card. Because I told you here last time, Mr. Javis, that there are 4 ways that a political system can be changed, and these 4 ways, maybe I can bring them again. Briefly, I said there is a natural way, which is that somebody can go out. There is when somebody is not very well, he said, no, I'm handing over, and there is the military coup, and the last one is what we have now, the voting. And this one, it is saying that if we want to talk, the only thing that you should show Cameroonian is your voter's card. And on that day, like Barrister has said, Senior Barrister, you go there, vote the person. It is not a fighter. Politics is not a fight. It is not like Mr. Javis, you must support my party. But I feel politics is all ideology and the manifesto of what the person in question that is in front of you is saying. And so if I'm voting that person, I must secure my vote right up to the end.
Thank you very much. We move now to the second topic of the day. That is the pending appointment of notaries in the Anglophone region and its impact and what could be the possible challenges as far as the legal practice is concerned in the Anglophone region. That is the second topic of today. I'll begin with you, Senior Barrister Nkea. When we are looking at this, the pending appointment of notaries in the Anglophone Cameroon.
Mr. Javis, this is a very topical issue. It is an issue that threatens the stability of this country. It is an issue that runs deep into the fabric of all those who identify as common law legal practitioners. And it is an issue that the government in place should be very careful in handling. I say so because there are different perspectives from which you can make an appraisal of this decree, and whatever perspective you take, you will come to the conclusion that this decree is intended to wipe out the last vestiges of the common law identity of lawyers practicing in the English-speaking part of Cameroon. And these are things which the lawyers in the English-speaking part of Cameroon are bent to resist it to the last drop of their blood. And I think that is something that is very sensitive, coming at the eve of elections, coming at a time when there have been measures to mitigate the ongoing armed conflict in the English-speaking part of Cameroon, coming at a time when the Barr has just had its elective General Assembly, coming at a time when Anglophones are beginning to believe that they have certain rights protected under Section 62 of the Constitution, talking about special status. And coming at a time when the government is giving us the impression that they are about implementing the resolutions and the outcome of the Grand National Dialogue. So I think that this is an issue which, if you want to understand it very well, you have to look at the legal history and the legal culture of the common law jurisdictions of Cameroon. And in this context, Mr. Javis, you will understand that legal practice in Cameroon started about 1960. And in the English part of Cameroon, 1961, I don't want to put the period of the trustship. In 1961, we had the West Cameroon Bar. And at that time, when we had the West Cameroon Bar, lawyers were practicing as notary public. Lawyers in West Cameroon. In East Cameroon, the reality was different, because there was a bifurcation. There were those who were notaries and those who were legal advocates. And in 1972, so we had this practice from 61 to 72 for more than 10 years. Then in 1972, there was the unification of the two bars to create what is now called the Cameroon Bar Association. In that 1972 law, provision was still made for lawyers to practice as notaries. And that was the practice. Although in East Cameroon, you had notaries appointed separately and lawyers appointed separately. And then something happened around 1975, 76. No, after 77, there was an amendment in 77 that made it clearer that lawyers could practice as notary publics in 77. And after that amendment, there was Barrister Emmanuel who was based in Douala here. He drafted a deed, did some notarial work that brought in so much money. And the notaries who were based in Douala revolted that he ought not to, because he was an advocate. And he contested, they challenged his decision, and Barrister N. Chong of blessed memory demonstrated that he was covered by the law. And so the order of notaries approached government with a petition. And in 1987, that provision was suppressed from the law organizing practice at Barr. The law organizing practice at the Barr was further amended in 1987 to remove the provision that lawyers could practice as notaries. But in the English-speaking regions, Section 68 of that law made it transitional, that lawyers based in the English-speaking regions could still continue practicing as notary publics. Now, in 1990, which is the most recent law that we have, that provision was still retained as a transitional measure under Section 74. We say that lawyers based in the English-speaking regions of Cameroon will continue practicing as notary public. And that is what has happened. Now, after 1990, there have been several attempts to suppress that aspect and to appoint notaries in the English-speaking Cameroon. And lawyers have always resisted. In 2009, there was a petition by lawyers in the Southwest and Northwest region to the Prime Minister, and other actions. And in 2014, the Cameroon Bar Association met in its General Assembly. When I talk about the Cameroon Bar Association, I mean lawyers of both English-speaking and French-speaking Cameroon met in a General Assembly and took a unanimous resolution that transitional provision in the 1990 law, which permitted lawyers to practice as notary public, should become a permanent feature, to say that in recognition of the cultural history and identity of the English-speaking lawyer, they should make it a permanent provision to say lawyers based in the English-speaking regions should practice as notary public. That resolution was taken. In 2019, we had the Grand National Dialogue, which, as you may want to know, was a fallout of the crisis that had broken out in the English-speaking regions of Cameroon. And I was in the Commission on Judicial Affairs. I was on part of the commission that drafted the resolution that was adopted by the General Assembly in 2014. And the Judicial Commission of the National Dialogue took a resolution recognizing that the practice of notary public is part and parcel of the common law legal tradition, and that it should be retained. You will discover that, and that is why there was also a proposal, a recommendation that the common law identity should be protected. Creating a common law bench in the Supreme Court, creating a common law division in ENAM, and then you will discover that after 2019, all the universities in Cameroon, all the state universities have a common law section. Yes. Now, and that is in recognition of the fact that there is something peculiar, something different.
The Nigeria.
Yes. When you talk about Cameroon, there is something peculiar about the common law as opposed to the civil law. And then in post-2019, there was this law on local collectivities, which highlighted, invoked the provisions of Section 62 to give people in the Northwest and Southwest regions special status. And this special status meant that they had to protect those things that are so peculiar with the English-speaking man. For us as lawyers, one of those things that is so peculiar to us, so peculiar with our practice, is the practice of lawyers as notary public. And so we think that bringing this law at this time, I think that the government is trying, I don't think it's even the government, it's some ill-advised measure to test the waters.
Which means that it is also going against the Grand Measure National Dialogue Resolution, which was aimed at pacifying and protecting the Nigeria and the cultural
I don't want to say pacify, because pacify is a measure of trying to deceive somebody. But it was a recognition of the fact that the English-speaking man, the English-speaking lawyer, has a particular identity which ought to be protected.
Okay. Barrister Epey, these issues that are coming up, and looking at the fact that in 2016 lawyers actually went out to demonstrate that there's need to protect the common law system, and which, if we look at fast forward the crisis and the Grand Measures National Dialogue that took place on September 30th 2019, which, like Barrister Nkea made mention of the fact that the special status resolutions was brought according to the section which he cited. And we are coming back to the issue which it was agreed within that system, that committee, that those things that are sacrosanct to the people of the North and Southwest region be protected, including that lawyers should practice as notary public in the Northwest and Southwest region. Looking at the pending appointment of notaries, how does this not actually go against some of the things that were aimed at solving the crisis?
Yes, Mr. Javis, I would like to cue from where my Barrister Nkea stopped, just to say that the law in itself is not just against lawyers. The decree is not just against lawyers. It's not the question of law removing the job of notary public from advocates practicing within the Northwest and Southwest region. It is a question of the cultural, legal heritage of a people which have been recognized by the same state of Cameroon. It is the state of Cameroon that recognizes these peculiarities of the people of the Northwest and Southwest region. You will follow from what Barrister Nkea said that ever since the measure of the coming into place of the Cameroon Bar Association, this aspect of lawyers practicing in the Northwest and Southwest, still practicing as notary public, has always been kept. Why is it so? Or why was that so? It is because of the peculiarity then and the peculiarity now that has always been kept. Fast forward, time and events have shown that you cannot take away notary publics from lawyers practicing in the Northwest and Southwest region because it goes to their cultural and legal identity and heritage. That is why the special status law stated clearly that the common law subsystems will be safeguarded. That is why it also stated clearly that they are going to be, the people of the Northwest and Southwest region are going to be consulted. Section 3 and Section 328 of that said law are very instrumental. Now, question, were they consulted? No. Secondly, what has so happened recently that will now come to change to now appoint notaries within the Northwest and Southwest region? From the inception, West Cameroon Bar Association, all the subsequent amendments, nothing changed. What has now happened to warrant such a drastic measure? We say no to it. It is not good for the lawyers. It is not good for the people doing business within the Northwest and Southwest region. I give you an example. In that same decree, before I come to that, you will notice that all what has been cited before now are laws. The law organizing practice at the Barr 1990 law and the special status law, those are laws.
And the Constitution.
And the Constitution of Cameroon. But what do we have today to amend those laws? It's a decree. It did not go through Parliament. So you see that there is something which is not clear about this particular decree. Again, we are looking at the economic situation of
Barrister Epey, I think that before you proceed, what Barrister Epey is saying here is very crucial. Legally, you cannot use an inferior legal instrument to amend or suppress the provision of a superior legal instrument. And in this case, in the hierarchy of laws, you have
the Constitution,
you have laws, you have decrees, ordinances, and all that. And in this case, the 1990 law, which provided that lawyers should continue to practice
it's a law
as notaries public,
is now sought to be amended
by a decree.
An inferior legal instrument. Okay. That is what Barrister Epey is saying, which I think is crucial and goes to the crux of this issue. So you will see it and it links credence to that fact that there is some hidden hand behind this.
In this same decree that we are talking about, it says that the seat of the notary will be attached to a court of first instance, but that they are going to have a regional jurisdiction. What does that mean? It means that if one notary is appointed in either the Northwest or Southwest regions, all the other lawyers, all the advocates who now practice as notary cease to perform that function. It poses a very big problem to the population. You and I know that it is not possible that they are going to appoint 1,000 notaries at the same time. Therefore means that if 2 notaries are appointed in Boya, for example, people in Manfi, people in Akwaya, people in Ndian, they will all have to come and consult that notary because he has regional jurisdiction and all the other lawyers are going to cease to practice. It poses a problem, a social economic problem to the people in the Northwest and Southwest region. What has happened financially, economically, we have in the Northwest and Southwest region, we have approximately 1,200 lawyers practicing. These are people taking care of their families. No state in its right thinking mind is going to take away jobs from 1,200 persons and give it to 25 persons. It is not possible. It is not doable. It is not feasible. And it is not good for our people. So what we are saying is that this law, this decree that has been passed, there is some hidden hand. There's something in it which is not, which is not. And now let me just call Mr. Javis. We as newly elected members of the Bar Council, the Bar Council is there to protect the lawyers. The Bar Council is there to govern the lawyers. Part of our job as Bar Council members is to protect and create jobs for lawyers. How then can we sit and fold our arms and see that 80% of jobs of lawyers practicing within the Northwest and Southwest region is taken away from them? That is a big problem.
Now, my question is, I want to look at the Constitution here. And my question is, if this appointment go through of notice, are we not in the same light?
No, Mr. Javis, don't even say that if it goes through. It will not go through.
I'm just okay.
It will not.
I'm just giving
you can take it from me.
Okay. Now,
except we want to turn the Anglophone region, the common law regions of Cameroon, into a battlefield. It cannot go through.
No, now when you say battlefield, somebody may misquote you. I know you're a legal practitioner, but for the sake of legal battlefield.
When I say battlefield, I mean that it will be a source of instability. What we have today in the English-speaking Cameroon was because lawyers stood up.
The barrister, for the sake of the instability, please, you may be taken out of context. That maybe
you see the point is that when you speak the truth, right? When you speak the truth and you speak it as how it is, there's no sugarcoating.
No, the issue is they may take you like incitation, that maybe we are inciting people on the street, but maybe we look at from the legal issues now.
When lawyers went to the street in 2016, who incited them? They were incited by the state.
Okay.
And we are saying that this law is inciting lawyers to go to the street.
Legally. They follow legal means.
Yes,
legal means. Yes, that's why I was driving. Barrister Epey. We are saying that we want the Anglophone crisis to come to an end. We are saying that people should trust the process. We are saying that the Grand Measure National Dialogue is a panacea to actually stabilize the bicultural and the bigerian nature. And at the same time, when the same Measure National Dialogue had a commission that say, okay, this issue about Anglophone lawyers practicing as notary public should be maintained, which is in provision of the Constitution. And now there is a decree which is coming. Now, looking at this day, the weight of the decree and the Constitution, are we not indirectly saying that we don't want the conflict to come to an end from that legal standpoint?
No, I would not like to delve into that. What we are saying as Bar Council members is that this law is a bad law. And we are saying that wherever there is a bad law, there is bound to be social injustice, because the law is there to regulate the society. And where we have good laws, good legislation, people will be at peace, there will be economic development. We are equally stakeholders in the state. in the state management of affairs, and we wish that things should go the proper way. That is why we say that it is important at the moment for this particular decree to either be suspended and subsequently revisited. That is going to create a peaceful atmosphere. For now, they have not been appointed. They will not be appointed. They will not be appointed. Definitely, they will not be appointed.
They will not be appointed.
No, notaries will not be appointed because Cameroon is a state of law. Cameroon is a state of law, and the state takes care of its citizens. Maybe this decree was passed without looking into the issues which we are now raising. I am sure with some education, with some consultation, this decree is going to be suspended and subsequently revised. Let me tell you something, Mr. Javis. Do you know that the lawyers in the Northwest and Southwest region are actually trained to be solicitors, to be notaries, barrister, solicitor, and notary? That is our training. So, somebody like me, who went into chambers in 2003, stayed there as an aspirant. In 2008, I wrote the Barr Part 1. 2011, wrote the Barr Part 2, and I've been practicing as notary public since then. Do you mean that the state, in its right sense, is going to say that all what I have been trained to, I have been practicing, they can now remove 80% of it from me? No. We say no. There is some misinformation. There is some misconception of our legal identity, of our cultural identity. Well, that is not what we are saying. We will not know. If we knew, we would have addressed the issues head on. But what we are saying is that this is not a decree which can be implemented within the Northwest and Southwest region of Cameroon. Nothing has so happened that warrants such a decree to come into force within the Northwest and Southwest region of Cameroon. The people of Northwest and Southwest region, the people doing the economic operators, will be badly hit by such a situation where you have notaries appointed within the Northwest and Southwest region.
I think just to cue on from what Vice Epey is saying, laws are meant to enhance governance, not to enhance anarchy, disorder, and injustice. And I said before that from any perspective that you look at this decree, you will see that this decree is ill-intended. It has not been properly motivated. And the result is simple. When you have this kind of thing that people are raising their fingers from the outset, you have to be careful. Ask yourself the question, why is it several laws have been passed? Several laws. Why is it that this particular law is attracting so much discontent in the English-speaking part of Cameroon? As we speak, I know that the common law lawyers are regrouping. They are consulting themselves. I don't know, and they are intending to take certain measures to safeguard their identity as common law legal practitioners. So I would not know what measures they are going to take, but I know that they are consulting each other. They are regrouping to pose a resistance.
Now, Barrister, when the conflict in the Northwest and the Southwest region started in early 2016, which is a fallout from the lawyers and the teachers. Now, there was a interministerial committee with the legal minds in Yaoundé. I don't know if this was discussed, because there was one in Bamenda for teachers and one in Yaoundé for the lawyers. And if this was discussed, you have further highlighted also that it was a center at the Grand Measure National Dialogue, which was actually discussed that this should not be touched, because it is in line with the spatial status given to the people of the Northwest and the Southwest region, known as the Anglophone region. Now that we are having this decree, the question we should be asking is it mean that there are some people who don't want the conflict in the Northwest and Southwest region to come to an end? Or is an ill advice?
I would not want to suggest that there are some people who are trying to incite more violence. But that is what you will see if this decree is implemented. That is what you will see. That is what you will get. Because personally, when I talk to my colleagues, when I see my colleagues expressing themselves, I have that feeling that we are going to a pre-2016 situation of lawyers. That lawyers are even more determined than they were in 2016 when they went to the streets. And so when you see that, that is why I feel very uncomfortable that this kind of law was even passed in the first place. Because, like I said, laws are intended to enhance governance. No government in its right thinking mind will try to create anarchy where there is peace, will try to create more anarchy when there is an attempt to stabilize.
So this may be an error.
Yes. I believe that this decree was induced by error. That is what I think.
Now, for the people watching us now, some people may, I'm going now to those who are not familiar with this issue of notaries and notary public, who are probably using the services, but they don't know. Maybe they need an explanation to this, the issue of the notaries public and their rules.
Yes. Now, you see, there is a difference between a notary, as it is in East Cameroon, and a notary public, as it is
West Cameroon.
in West Cameroon. There's a difference. But for the sake of clarity and education to the public, when they say the lawyers perform the role of a notary public, it means that we draft deeds, sales agreements, land transaction deals, contracts. We can authenticate other documents like sales agreements for vehicles, which is not the purview of the police. I see you buy your car, you take it to the commissariat. It is not within the powers of the police to do that. Now, in the English-speaking Cameroon, if you want to buy a parcel of land, your first call is the lawyer's office. And they are telling you that by this decree, they will need to appoint somebody who is called a notary public, who will be limited. As of now, the exercise of my function as a notary public is within the territorial confines of the Court of Appeal, the region of the Court of Appeal. And they tell you that, no, we are going to appoint somebody who will only have competence, or his search will be that of his seat, will be that of the Court of First Instance. But he can practice. And like Barrister Epey said, this is just pure logic. There are over 1,500 lawyers in the English-speaking part of Cameroon practicing concurrently as advocates and notary public. 1,500. And there is no way that the government is going to appoint 1,500 notary in the English-speaking Cameroon. And we get this very clearly. There is also a challenge of access to justice when you do this. I am representing the Diocese of Boya in a land transaction for a campus where they run the Catholic University Institute in Bodaberry. We bought that land in 2020. Up till today, as I speak, that transaction has not gone through because you go to the notary's office one day after the other, one day after the other, one day after the other. He sends you to some clerks. To see a notary, it's like you are seeking to see God.
That's 2020. We are 2025.
I'm telling you. Taxes have been paid, but I mean that to access a notary in French-speaking Cameroon is more difficult than to access court. And we think that the people of English-speaking Cameroon are used to that situation where they walk into a lawyer's office, they see a lawyer, the lawyer is at their beck and call. That is what we are saying. That is the impact it's going to have on the people in the English-speaking Cameroon. It's going to deprive them. It's going to increase their cost. Because if you are in the BLM, you want to buy a piece of land and you have to travel to Boya to consult the notary public, it becomes a problem.
And how many, the number of lands that are being bought on a daily basis?
That is what we are saying.
There is another aspect to this decree. You will notice that it is not all aspects of our laws that have been harmonized. We have probate, we have contracts, and other issues that are purely common law oriented. I bet you that when it comes to appointment of notaries, just as we saw in the appointment of bailiffs within the Northwest and Southwest region, most of them will be civil law trained.
And not common law.
And not common law. And in the area of conveyancing, in the area of authenticating documents, these are legal instruments which carry legal notions, which of course, if the bedrock is common law, the civil law practitioner will have it difficult to authenticate or to convey or to draft documents to that effect, because the background, the bedrock, if it is probate, if it is an estate that is being diversed to the beneficiaries, how he perceives the notions are different from a common law lawyer.
A practical example, Barrister Epey, a practical example is that when you're talking about probate matters in East Cameroon, if you die and you're survived by your spouse and your children, in East Cameroon, preference is given to the kids, to the children.
I was just coming to that. I was just coming to that. We have the non-contentious probate rules, which states that in order of priority, it is the wife, the spouse, who is first in priority. Whereas east of the Mongo, the order of priority is the children. So look now at a situation where a document or a file is brought in the chambers of a notary who is civil law oriented. He will not have that legal acumen. He will not have that legal background to be able to know how and where to draft, because he will not, first of all, understand the rights of the parties. So that is why we say that it is better, it is easier, it is common, and that is why the people of the Northwest and Southwest region have been comfortable with lawyers drafting their documents
and authenticating
them, because we understand the legal notions behind these documents. You don't bring somebody to authenticate a document who does not understand the legal notions behind this document. It makes nonsense of the whole process. And that is why I say that it is not, in as much as we, the common law lawyers practicing within the Northwest and Southwest region, in as much as we say that no, they are taking away our jobs, we equally say that the people of the Northwest and Southwest region are better served with justice by us practicing this profession of notary public. And there will be injustice, there will be anarchy, they will not be better served, they will be misinterpreted, they will be misquoted if you have civil law trained notary publics appointed to come and perform this job. The argument may be that, okay, advocates within the Northwest and Southwest region, they also have the possibility of applying to become notaries. Why will I apply to become a notary and abandon my job of an advocate?
You just removed my question, eh?
Why will I do that? What is the difficulty? What is the problem? What has happened? What has so happened? We have people advocates. We have advocates in training now. They are being trained as barristers, solicitors, and notary publics in the Northwest and Southwest region. What becomes of them if, in the light of this law?
In fact, this law says
it bars them.
That they cannot. So that even if they become lawyers tomorrow, they cannot.
Yes, the first step of this law, with or without appointing notaries, is that our advocates in training,
yes,
who are today being trained as notary public, as solicitors, most especially solicitors, we must distinguish between solicitor and notary public, who have been trained as solicitors, drafting documents, means that when they become lawyers, they will not be notary public. That cannot be the handiwork of a state. That cannot be the job of a state.
A state that has enacted laws to say that the common law subsystem must be protected.
And now
that is what I'm saying.
Now a decree is now taking it. It is it is contradictory. It is contradictory. And we say that it can only be resolved in the manner in which there have been peace, there has been calm, and people have been enjoying the legal system. So we say that this decree, it is our call, it is our fervent call that this decree be suspended and subsequently revisited.
Okay, let me take on some messages. Greetings to you in the studio. I am Dr. Rene writing from Limbe. The topic on the table is one which is pertinent, and the panel members are doing justice to same. I will also wish to add my voice to theirs by saying that the state of Cameroon belongs to all of us and not some few. Hence, the step of those in authority is a blatant disrespect of the identity of the Cameroonian people, especially those within the Anglophone section of this country. However, every law that meets opposition from the society at the level of its implementation calls for same to be revised. That said, let's look at the 2005 Criminal Procedure Code. Its shortcoming was not passed in blatant disrespect of the Cameroonian people. This law will, in the days ahead, lead to more challenges than we are already experiencing. It is obvious that our leaders don't longer care about those who voted them. Thanks. This is coming from Rene Limbe. This other one, right? It says, "Good afternoon, barristers. I am kind of very confused, which means that if that notary public is appointed, it means if we have to sell our land in Moyuka, we have to travel right to Boya to make this agreement. I don't understand. I need more clarification."
Yes, let me clarify that. What we are saying is that from the onset, it is very obvious that if they were to appoint notaries, they will not appoint notaries all across the board. There will be no notary in Kumbo, for instance.
In Womb,
there will be no notary there because they say that the notary is supposed to be attached in the court of first instance.
Regionally.
And he is going to have regional powers. So it means that once one is appointed anywhere, he has regional jurisdiction. So the person from Akwaya cannot travel to Manfi to consult a lawyer for a job to be done. He will have to travel to wherever that notary public is. And what is the difficulty with now the lawyers practicing what they are practicing? There have been no complaints of lawyers practicing as notary publics within the Northwest and Southwest region. The population is fine. So we think that this law is something that has to be revisited and subsequently amended.
This one says, happy Sunday to you guys. I'm enjoying the program. Barrister talked about the issue when somebody dies and priority is given to their children and not their wives. Before now, I did not know this. I need more clarification. Does it mean that if I die today, my children will now take over, even if I left a will for my wife to be in charge?
No, I think what we are saying is about the legal notions.
Okay.
The culture in East Cameroon. The legal culture is that when a man dies, intestate, meaning without a will.
Without a will. All what we have been saying is in the situation of intestacy.
Intestacy.
Yes.
When he dies without a will, and you now those his survivors are now seeking to administer the estate. Preference is given to his children over his wife. Right? It doesn't mean that he must be given to his children. Preference, which means that
order of priority.
Yes. Which means that if you bring reasons why the children, it is better for the mother to manage, it could be given to mother. Whereas in the Anglophone common law regions of Cameroon, preference is given to the spouse. It doesn't make the spouse the chop chair or the man who is going to succeed the
everything.
husband. It just says that you have to be managing it for the benefit of everybody. Priority is given to her. But if there is reason to show that the spouse would not do equity to the management of that estate, then some other person, not even the children, it may even be an uncle, it may even be a brother, it may even be, you get the point. But priority,
unifier.
yes,
someone that will unify.
But priority is given to the spouse then the children, then the parents, and then the brothers.
Okay, now, Barrister Epey, now my question now to you is, when we look at this argument that are being brought forward, it means that the idea about this law not to be implemented, it is to give the common man in the northwest and southwest region justice, to make sure that they don't pass through difficult moments in their financial transactions and also their daily dealings when they have to consult the lawyers in the north and southwest region who serve as notary public. That's the idea, not just to save the jobs of lawyers.
Yes, yes, it is twofold. Our arguments are twofold. The jobs of lawyers is on the line, and secondly, the justice to the people of the northwest and southwest is on the line. And even thirdly, our cultural and legal heritage, our identity is being trampled upon by this same decree. And this same decree contradicts laws, the constitution, the law organizing practice at the bar, and the law on special status. And the procedure for which this decree was passed. The law on special status says that the people of the northwest and southwest, they have consultative rights. Were they consulted? If they were consulted, of course, it would have been a no for this decree.
Now we, Barrister Nkea, now what could be the way forward?
No, the way forward for me is simple. The government is a government that listens to its people. The government is a government that cares for its people. And I think the people of Cameroon include the people of the common law jurisdiction of this country. Let the government withdraw, suspend, or revoke that provision that makes it illegal for lawyers to practice the job of notary public. Rather, and you will want to understand, Mr. Javis, that there is a proposal by the Cameroon Bar Association for the amendment of the 1990 law, in which they have included that that provision that was transitional should be made permanent. Not only by the General Assembly of 2014, but also as a measure that respect. So we think that the government should take its responsibility, exercise caution, exercise fairness, follow the rule of law, suspend this decree, and then review it in due course with the intention to make, sustain, and maintain the practice of lawyers in the southwest and northwest regions concurrently as advocates, solicitors, and notary.
Okay, this one writes again. I'm sure I must have asked the question, but it says, "Good afternoon, sir. I'm writing from the southwest region. Who is a notary public and what are their functions? Please help us understand so that we can actually..." Okay, follow well. It's coming from Priest Archer. That has been explained already.
That has been explained.
My question is, now we are almost out of time. You are members of the bar. Bar Council. You are members of the Bar Council. And now, what is the Bar Council now aiming at if this go through?
Yes, Mr. Javis, I would like to quickly tell you that the deliberations of the Bar Council are sacred. Resolutions are made public. As of now, this is an issue that came out just on the eve of the elections. In fact, we had our elective General Assembly on the 14th of July, and this law came up on the 16th. In fact, our elective General Assembly took us 3 days. So you see that this law came out when we were still in the elective General Assembly.
Was it strategic?
Well,
at a time when it was perceived,
yes,
that electoral campaigns would have divided, put lawyers in certain camps.
Yes. So now, I think the Bar Council is not, the Bar Council and the Bar President, they are not relenting on this issue. Of course, they are looking at it, but when they will work on it, then it will be made public. But deliberations within the council, of course, are sacred.
Did it not just was this a kind of, is this perceived as a flaw that the time of which the decree came in at a very crucial time when lawyers were very busy campaigning?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because during election period, you will always have some divisive. Yes, but I want to assure everybody that There is only one Cameroon Bar Association. There's one bar. There's one bar council, and we have one bar president. With a thing like this, they will be surprised by the kind of unanimous support that all lawyers will give to the bar council and to the bar president to resolve this issue. So we are saying that when the time comes, the bar council will deliberate, their decisions will be made public, but for example, I'm speaking in my capacity as a lawyer, resident, and practicing as a common law lawyer in Cameroon.
But many people may argue that if the people of Douala, of the Eastern regions, have been surviving with notaries public, it means that the people of the North and Southwest region can also survive.
No, that is what we are saying, that we are not the people of Douala. You get the point?
We have a different history.
Yeah,
we have a different
heritage.
We have a different identity. The way you perceived this thing is about cultural heritage. The way you are going to perceive certain notions in different tribes is not the same way that people are going to accept it in different tribes. And when they do accept in those tribes where they accept them, the people are happy. So the people, what we are saying is that this issue about cultural heritage is something which is protected by all international instruments. And that is why the state of Cameroon has been consistent with protecting the cultural and managerial nature of Cameroon. So what we are saying is that this particular decree comes to water down, take away all the efforts that the state of Cameroon has been doing from the inception of the state.
No, but Epey, you should understand that you can see this decree within the confession of the head of state when he himself said that from 72 till date, all the attempts have been to assimilate the people of the English-speaking.
When he appeared on Mo Ibrahim's program,
that those have been the attempts, and he admitted that it has failed. And I think that coming with this law is they're trying to re-strategize to see how they can completely wipe out our identity as common law, as Anglophones. And you see, I don't want to predict, but the outcome is obvious. The outcome is obvious. And I think that any person involved with this particular piece of law or this decree should push for it to be suspended.
Okay.
And that will be good conscience on the part not only of the executive, but I think that will be much more appreciated by the people.
Okay, so we're out of time. Is your last word before we take leave of you? Maybe you went to the peace loving people of the North and Southwest region.
Well, we
are assuring them that
Mr. Javis, I would like to thank you for giving us this platform to expound on this decree and to say that we are lawyers and our duty is to protect ourselves and to protect the people that we serve. In protecting the people that we serve, that is why we are saying what we are saying. We hope and we call on the state to revisit this obnoxious decree and to eventually discard of it for the general interest of the state. You will agree with me that the people of the Northwest and Southwest region have been living with the practice of notaries, of lawyers as notaries, and they have been calm. Everything has been fine. Economic operators have been fine. So I think that with what we have said, whoever, we are calling on the powers that be to suspend the said decree and to eventually revisit it for the paramount interest of justice and the state of Cameroon.
Because Cameroon is a state of law.
Because Cameroon is a state of law.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Javis. I'm enjoying the program. Please ask the learned barristers in the bar. Is the bar constitution pushing on Cameroon having a law school just like Rwanda? don't you think that the law school is utmost important? Like Barrister Epey said, that issues of the bar are secret, are discussed secret and made public. Maybe this is a question, but I'm not sure.
No, I don't think that the issues of the law school, well, I think it's well on the table. We discuss that every day. And our wish is also that we'll have one in the shortest possible time. But as my last word, Mr. Javis, I agree entirely with Barrister Epey to say that if we are to have peaceful coexistence in this country, if we are to continue to preach our bijural and bilingual identity in this country, we must seek to make laws that ensure conviviality between these two legal cultures. And the law itself says that the English, the common law sublegal system must be preserved and protected. We ask them to withdraw this law in the interest of peace, in the interest of social cohesion, in the interest of peaceful coexistence, in the interest of justice and social justice for all the people living in English-speaking Cameroon.
This one, right. Good morning to you all in the studio, especially to Senior Barrister Nkea and Barrister Epey. I salute you. I don't think this is the first attempt by the government to take what by norms belongs to the Anglophone. Similar issues almost happened with the GC board to be taken to the French-speaking part of the country. The earlier this decree be revised, the better. I am Theo Fatus, an intern writing from Boya. This one says, good morning, Mr. Javis. I also strongly greet the legal minds on the panel, and a special salute to my man, Barrister Nkea. It's long now that I haven't seen him on the panel. We are really enjoying the way they are putting out the clarification to the public. What I want to say is that they can just sit and pass any decree without thinking if it favors the population or not. One televiewer just said that they don't care about those who voted for them. I want to add my voice to that, saying they are doing this because they know nobody voted. Okay, thank you very much.
You don't want to read that part.
If we accept patriotic, this one says, greetings, Mr. Javis, please. Can you ask the barrister in the house to explain the difference between an advocate solicitor and the public notary, and all refers to lawyers? Marius, writing from Boya.
We say that when you talk about an advocate, a solicitor, and a notary public, you are referring to the same person who practices law as a lawyer in the Anglophone community. That is the simplest way to put it across. All legal jobs, apart from adjudication, are done by lawyers. In this side of the country, it's bifurcated into several segments. Right. But for us, drafting wills, drafting contracts, authenticating them are done by lawyers.
Maybe I just come in a little bit to say that solicitors are generally in charge of drafting documents, conveyancing, wills, and all of that. Notary publics authenticate documents, while advocates are those who go to court and plead cases at the bar.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Javis. If you see what they have said here, it means there is a fire on the mountain. It means the system has problems. That's why we are calling Cameroonians that time has come to actually go in for a change, so that the system can be changed and make Cameroon a better Cameroon, like Akeremuna is preaching.
Thank you very much. Thank you, barristers. Thank you very much. And of course, like I said, it is election season. People will promise to construct seaports in areas that don't have rivers. So be careful on how you cast your ballot. And as we always say, this program will be rebroadcast today at 10:30 p.m. 10:30 p.m. We have a rebroadcast. It will be on our YouTube channels. We have two YouTube channels. We have BT Media Group and My Media Prime. You have it on our YouTube channels so that you can actually watch and actually take note on some of the issues that have been discussed. If you want to be a member of my panel, my number is on the screen. You can ask and I'll put you in the group where we always discuss on topics, if it's of your interest, you come and participate as long as you take responsibility for what you will say. As I always say, no matter the matter, what matters is your matter. And what should matter this day is that you should stay out of trouble and beware of hypocrisy. Those who come and manipulate you to move to the street. No, say no to that and say yes to unity, peaceful coexistence, and one and indivisible Cameroon, as it is always said. Bye-bye.